Do you want to add some steam to your cup of coffee and breathe life into your renders? If you've never had the courage to try and use KS Phoenix and always postponed learning it, the place to start is here. Even if you're familiar with the Phoenix and use it on a daily basis, I'm pretty sure this video will help you as well. Today I'm gonna walk you through some key parameters in the Phoenix and we will play with the numbers so you can see the difference between the values of each section. And at the end I will give you the exact numbers for a perfect Steam simulation. Alright, let's get started. So let's start by showing you the units. It's set to metric centimeter and each unit equals 1 centimeter. I doubled the size of the mug so it will increase the detail of the smoke. You can see the size of the mug and it's roughly around 16 centimeters height. Okay, now we need an emitter to emit smoke. So I draw a circle and convert it to editable poly and use retopology to turn it into quads. Alright, now create a fire and smoke source and grab this circle as an emitter. Now I need a Phoenix grid to determine the simulation area. Press Alt-A to align the grid and emitter. Alright. Remember, never hit R and scale the grid. Always go to the grid section and change the scale from there. Alright, let's just hit the start simulation button and see what will happen. You can hit the pause to pause the simulation and hit the stop to totally stop the simulation. Now I need to tell the grid to expand as the fire grows. So I enable the adaptive grid, change it to smoke, and it will be expanded by the smoke. Reduce the threshold to make it a bit more sensitive, and by increasing the extra margin it will be expand even more. I'm just playing with the numbers to see the amount of expansion. Let's disable the temperature since we just want to simulate the smoke. And in order to see the simulation better, you need to enable the GPU preview. Let's hit this start and see what will happen. just increase the keyframes to 500. Let's change the outgoing velocity. The outgoing velocity controls the strength of the source. Changing it to 100 and my mic will become a volcano. And for Steam, we do not want something super powerful, so we should decrease the outgoing velocity. Okay, let's change it to 20 for now. The smoke specifies the density of the emitted smoke, and the value is usually between 1 and 0, but you can increase it if you want heavier smoke. You can see when I change it to 0.2, we kinda decrease the density of the smoke. So I bring it back to 1. So let's change some parameters in the dynamic. Because we disabled the temperature, the cooling is not working. So instead of using the cooling, we can use smoke dissipation. We use it in simulations where the smoke needs to disappear. For example, steam, clouds, etc. If you set this parameter to the maximum value of 1, the smoke will disappear immediately. So watch the dissipation effect. You can see the grid is not expanding properly, so I decrease the threshold and give some extra margin. When I hit the start, you can see there's a pause at the beginning of the simulation, and that's because by default the cache files are stored on my hard drive and I need to change it to my SSD. So go to the output, and from here you can change the path of the cache files. You can also delete your cache files from here, or you can click on this trash can and delete the cache files. So I save the cache files on my SSD and it will increase the overall workflow. If you want to enable the motion blur, you need to enable the velocity in the output. So let's decrease the smoke dissipation. Right now the smoke is disappearing so fast. The smoke is so powerful right now, we need to decrease the outgoing velocity. As we decrease the strength of the smoke, you can see the smoke is stuck on the ground. We need to make it lighter so the smoke will rise and go upward to the air. And here the smoke buoyancy come in handy. Positive values make the smoke move upwards and negative values make it move downwards. Let me show you. Changing the smoke buoyancy to 1 will shoot the smoke to the air, and for something like steam, we need to lower the numbers to something like 0.2. So we have just a little push that will move our smoke upward to the air. Now I want to use the negative values so you can see how the smoke will go downwards. But first, in order to see it better, I need to hide the mug so you can see the smoke will fall down on the ground. So I just isolate the grid and hit the start. And you can see nothing is happening. Why? Because I didn't grab the emitter. So I go back and isolate the emitter as well. Again, nothing is happening. You know why? Because I didn't grab the fire source. So in order to be able to start the simulation, you need at least 3 things: an emitter, fire source, and the grid. Now when I hit the start, the simulation will begin. And I change the smoke buoyancy to 0.5, and you can see the smoke is falling on the ground. I just increase the velocity to see it better. If I change it to -1, it will even fall faster. Alright, I just changed the smoke buoyancy to 0.3 and lowered the outgoing velocity. Vorticity and fluidity have huge impact on the final look of your simulation. Vorticity adds a small-scale detail that is dissipated naturally, prevents the simulation from becoming smooth and laminar. Now I disable the massive vorticity and reduce the classic vorticity to 0 to see the effect in action. If I click on Start Simulation, the simulation will start from the beginning, but I want the simulation begin from a certain point. So I click on Restore instead of Start and continue from there. As you can see, the simulation becomes smooth, and if I add some vorticity, you can see how it will change the overall look. We can usually use a small amount of vorticity in a simulation like Steam, but usually I prefer to totally disable it. Randomize will add random fluctuations in the fluid's velocity for each grid voxel. It works in combination with the vorticity. So if you want to add some randomization to your simulation, increase randomize. Let's see how lower numbers will affect our steam. I disabled this one as well. I'm just playing with the outgoing velocity because I think we have too much velocity right now. If you want your steam go higher, you can increase the smoke buoyancy. You can change the swirling motion type in the conservation tab. Changing it to directly smooth will give me a smoother result and less swirling here. As I change the method to directly smooth, you can see the smoke is not rising. So I need to increase the outgoing velocity a little. You can see my smoke is now narrower compared to the other methods. And if I change it to buffered, you can see the swirling in the smoke is increased. The quality will increase the strength of the conservation, and if you want to increase the swirling of the smoke, you need to increase the quality. I will change it to 40. Let's change it again to direct symmetric just to see the difference, and start the simulation from the beginning. These two, direct symmetric and direct smooth, works perfect for the simulation like steam. For this setup I will use the direct smooth, and the result is what I'm looking for. If you have a simulation that is moving so quickly, you need to increase the steps per frame. But since here we do not have such a movement, we can stick with 1 or 2. And beware that increasing the steps per frame could kill some fine details of the smoke. That's enough for you to become familiar with the basics of smoke simulation, and we do not need to change anything else except the rendering parts, which I'll be explaining to you in the next video. Now I need to add some extra movement to the smoke. So I will add a turbulence. You can create turbulence by going to the helper and the Phoenix section. The moment I added the turbulence, you can see my smoke become chaotic and the strength is too much, so we need to decrease it. Let's reset the simulation. I let the simulation start and simulate for a while, and then enable the turbulence, increasing the strength, and you can see how the turbulence will change the smoke. You can see how turbulence can change the look of the smoke, but now it's a little too much. Oh, where is the mug? I totally forget about it. Unless you disable the objects, they will affect the simulation, so if there will be a mug in your simulation, don't forget to have it. I click on restore to continue where I left off. Alright, now I will play with the turbulence, so let's change it to 1 or maybe 0.8. I just play with the numbers. You look at the smoke and see the changes on it. Now I change it to 2, maybe increase the size from 100 to 500. If I increase the size, let's change it to 10 so you'll be able to see it better. If I increase the size, the radius of the turbulence will be increased, so make it even stronger to see the effect better. Now it's so obvious how the turbulence is changing our smoke. Let's change it to 10. I really like how I can see the simulation in action, and whenever it's too chaotic, I stop the simulation and start from the beginning, so it will be fresh. Okay, we can increase the steps if we have so much turbulence, but maybe I will increase it in the final. But for the sake of the video, I will stick to 1 since it's faster. Okay, I do not need my smoke to be very chaotic. Just a little strength would be enough. Just watch the movement. How about making it even larger? Let me change the color of the smoke, make it to pure white, so the smoke will be more visible. As I said earlier, this section will be explained in the next video. Okay, I love this smoke now. We are getting some cool results. Okay. Maybe it's too much. Let me decrease both the size and the strength, and I will duplicate the turbulence and disable the first one and change the second to a smaller one. So we will have 2 turbulence, a small one and a larger one. The small turbulence will add some fine details to the steam. For example, the small size to 60 centimeters and 0.8 strength, and the bigger one to 500 and strength of 1. We can also add wind by adding a plane force, and it's so simple. Just change the strength of the plane force to change the strength of the wind. It totally depends on you and what you're looking for. Before setting up the final settings, I need to add some variation to the emitter. So I add a vertex paint and click on the paint all to paint it all black. Right now you cannot see the color because first you need to click on vertex color display. And then click on the paint and change the color to white and paint the areas that you want to emit the smoke from there. Reduce the size and paint. Hit the start and see if it's working. You can see it's not working because in the Phoenix source you need to enable the vertex color mask. So grab the fire source, click on the mask and change it to vertex color. As you can see right now, just the areas that was painted as white is emitting smoke. Okay, let's paint a little more. I cannot see where I'm painting, so I need to delete the cache files first. But I cannot select anything, and click and right click kinda is disabled. This problem usually occurs when using Vertex Paint. The reason to that is the selection of the 3ds Max is disabled. So you need to enable the select object to be able to select again. Alright, final paintings, add some variation to the base, and we are ready to set up the final settings. Okay, let's grab the Phoenix source and change the outgoing velocity to 1.5, the noise to 1.5 as well, and the smoke to 1. Alright, now grab the simulator, go to the grid and increase the resolution to somewhere about 1,000,000 total cells. Decrease the threshold to 0.001, the extra margin to 8, and change the smoke dissipation to 0.2, the smoke buoyancy to 0.04, disable the classic vorticity and randomization, change the method to direct smooth, quality to 40, and 2 steps per frame. Grab the turbulence and change like so, 500 centimeters and 0.2, 60 centimeters and 0.3. For the plane source, I will go with 0.3. And let's start. Alright, the simulation I've done in 20 minutes, but before showing you the final results, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it wherever you want, and support the channel so I'll be able to create more of these tutorials for free for you guys. Thank you and watch the results. I also started a new simulation with different turbulence. I just decreased the size to 200 and changed the strength to 1.2.